Hello everyone. I'm so happy to be here again for our Facebook Live. I can't believe it's been 2 weeks since I saw you guys. Thank you for joining me today. I always appreciate your time and being here with me. You know, I wanted to bring this topic because I have been seeing a lot of children with skin diseases, and many parents are at their wits' end when they see their child suffering with itching at night or waking up or even itching because they went out to play. The weather is changing, there is a little bit of wind and they start actually having itching and they have eczema and they have oozing and they have allergies and so on and so forth. And these are all some things that we deal with on a regular basis, and we see more and more and more children suffering from these things. And I was thinking about how, when I was growing up, we didn't really have these many health issues amongst children. So if you are around my age, then you know what I'm talking about. You know that we didn't really go to doctors all the time. We didn't have to do a million things in order for us to be healthy. So that got me to think as to what were the things that we did back then. And we do this in our practice. But I was thinking about what were the things that was done when I was a child that helped me stay healthy, and probably most of my other friends as well. And I got reminded of my mother chasing us around the house, trying to give this bitter concoction of herbal tincture. And she would try to give this to us, and my sister would literally run around the house. And my mom, bless her heart, she would just keep following us until we took the, tincture. And this was done once every 2 or 3 months. And it was also followed by a really bad tasting liquid. Seems like that's actually the key to it. Everything should be bad tasting. So a bad tasting liquid, and we had to down it. And then we would have these horrendous bowel movements. I know this is not glamorous at all, but well, health is not always glamorous. So we would have these things, and she would actually just feed us pretty much, just steamed vegetables and so on and so forth that day. And I never really gave it a thought until recently as to what my mom was doing. And this is something that we do in our practice regularly. We give people bitter tinctures, and a lot of our parents don't like it because their children refuse to drink them. They always ask, can I mix it with honey? Can I mix it with elderberry syrup? Can I mix it with something, that they will drink with juices and so on and so forth? And I often tell parents that it's very important for them to drink and taste the bitterness of that tincture. So what my mom was doing was she was detoxifying us. And I realized that detoxification is a key to health. And this is the reason why we do this in our practice. But my mom, not even knowing the science behind it, was doing it. And that was a huge component in our health. And I thank her every day for teaching me the best habits. And my dad as well. He was a physician, so he taught us some amazing health, habits. And I'm so grateful for my parents for teaching them today. Did I like them as a child? No. But do I appreciate that today? Absolutely. Why? Because it's very easy for me to be healthy. It's very easy for me to do some of the things that I do. And some people think that it's so much of effort for me to do this, and it's not, because it started very young. So, what can we do, and why should we detox? What do you think? Should we detox our children? Is that necessary? Go on, put the comments in, let me know what you think. And I would love to hear about your, comments as to what do you think. Were there any kind of detoxes that were done when you were a child? Your mother gave you anything, your grandmother gave you anything? Hi, Kiran. So nice to see you. So go on, put your comments in so I can see what horrible tasting things you have taken as a child, or if you have taken any horrible things or not. Well, if you haven't, I don't know whether it's a lucky thing or not anymore, especially now I know the benefits of it. I wouldn't consider myself lucky if I didn't really have any of those things. So if you think about it, we are exposed to so many different factors. Probably when I was growing up, we didn't have as many cars, we didn't have as many flights, we didn't have a lot of contamination in our foods. We didn't have as many packaged foods. We had to eat fresh. We didn't really go to restaurants, to eat. So we didn't really do many of these things. And despite that, my mom was intelligent enough to know that we need to detoxify. And today, in today's world, how much of toxins we are actually getting, our children are getting. And I have said this many times, and I think it's worthy repeating, that our practice has become filled with a lot of little kids, and I don't really want to see little kids, because kids have to be healthy. When our body becomes old and starts to break down, then it makes sense for us to be seeing a lot of adults. But a child whose body is still forming, it's so full of youth and beauty and this amazing growth, should not really be having so many diseases. So obviously we are going wrong somewhere. We are not doing the right things by our children because we don't know. Back in the day, people used to live with their grandmothers, grandfathers, aunts, uncles, and so on and so forth. And there was a lot of wisdom that was passed on from generation to generation. Most mothers or grandmothers knew what to do when their child was sick. Today, though, not really. Most of us panic. Most of us don't know what to do. Most of us are actually trying to go to Google and ask what's going on with our children. And this is the reason why I wanted to bring this topic to you. Taking iron tonic. Iron tonic. If you think iron tonic was horrible, you should have tasted what my mom gave Askiran. You really should have. So, in today's world, there are lots of toxins that are surrounding us, whether it is the emissions, whether it is pesticides in our foods, whether the chemicals that are sprayed around us in our houses, outside our houses, whether it is our water. There is just way too many things that our bodies are dealing with on a regular basis. But we don't really do enough to detoxify our body, especially our children's body. And it's very, very important for us to do that, even if your child is healthy, especially if your child is healthy. I mean, any of my patients know this, that we always start with detoxifying their body, start with their gut. And one, it's very important for us to make sure that they're not constipated. But another is to make sure that we are giving them certain kinds of things. Of course, this is a generic information. This is not really meant for people with certain kinds of allergies, because in India, the horrible drink that I drank was neem. Neem is actually a plant that's native to India, and it produces very bitter leaves. And bitter taste has a certain effect on our colon to help move it, to get rid of certain kinds of things, so that our bodies can be healthier. And then the second horrible drink I had was water with castor oil. So castor oil is a laxative. So it actually helps the colon move and get all of those gunk out of our gut. So my little body was actually so much happier every time we would do that. And they also kill parasites. They get rid of fungi. It changes, or it actually gets rid of dysbiosis. Dysbiosis is where there is an imbalance of bacteria to fungus and all the other pathogenic organisms in our body. If we have more pathogens growing in our body than the good bacteria, then we are in trouble. So if we do these detoxification, then we get rid of them and kind of create that balance back again. And then again, my mom was so smart that she actually gave us only steamed vegetables, foods that were gentle enough for us to digest, but also not feed the bad pathogens, so that our bodies can come back and become rejuvenated after every detox. So this is what I usually recommend for my patients. I recommend black walnut hull, wormwood, or intestinal tract defense. These are the things that I usually recommend. But then again, each child is different, each condition is different, which means that they may need something unique. So if you know that your child is healthy and does not have any food allergies or any environmental allergies to specific things, then this is something that you can do once every 2 months or 3 months. And you would do two dropperfuls for at least 7 days straight, and then follow it up with 1 day of 2 tablespoons. I mean, again, this is age, relevant as well. We can do this for little kids. We have to make sure that's age relevant. So this would be for at least children who are 8 and over. If they are under 8, we need to make sure that we actually do the dosing accordingly. So then you actually follow it up with warm water and castor oil for 1 day in the morning, just once. And this actually makes the bowel move, and whatever was killed by this intestinal tract defense or black walnut, hull, and wormwood will now be brought out, and they will pass everything out. And make sure that you're just feeding them more steamed vegetables, easily digestible foods, fresh fruits, and so on and so forth, and not fried foods, cakes, cookies, nothing sweet, sugary during this time. Fruits are fine during this time, because it really helps body detoxify, not feed the pathogens. Yes, Jisha, exactly. It is necessary to detox our children. You are right. See, better God. Absolutely. See, all of your mothers were so amazing. Kadu Kadyatu. Yes, yes. That's awesome. See, all our mothers were so intelligent. So now it's our turn when it comes to our children. So, but if this information isn't sufficient for you, we do have the webinar coming up this Saturday at 4 p.m. Central Time, conveniently for you, so when you're off. And we are going to talk about detoxification specific to each age group, and when to do it, how much to do it. And I'll also answer questions for kids who have allergies. What can be given instead of, the black walnut, hull, and intestinal tract defense? Because if somebody has nut allergies, that may not really do well with them, and it should be done case by case. And of course, some of the patients also asked, what are the other things that we're going to talk about in the webinar? So this webinar is about what constitutes health in your children. What are the things that causes diseases in your children? And what are the things you can do to prevent them from getting sick? How you detoxify your children on a regular basis so they can be healthy, forever, right? And when they do get sick, how you can treat them with the natural things and, the protocols and, the diet and all of those things. So that's what we are going to be discussing in the webinar. So if you haven't signed up for it yet, please go ahead and sign up for it. And I'll also follow it up with a Q&A. So I'll answer every single question of yours so that you can feel empowered when you leave with more information. And many of you have already been treating your children, and you know how powerful that is. Let me know what you think, when you treat your children and they get better. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel very powerful and strong and know that, you can actually rely upon yourself rather than panic? Jisha is saying, I remember my mother giving us Balasuda. I wanted to continue with my kids, but my pediatrician suggested otherwise. So I never had the guts to even thinking of detoxing my kids. Oh my God, this is so important, right? So much of the ancient wisdom that we had, we have lost. I'll tell you this one story about one of my, when I was in residency, we have to, be serving villages. And when we go to the villages, we realize that most of them didn't even know how to make an herbal tea or an herbal tincture to ward off a cold. They were actually taking medications for cold. The reason why is we have actually moved so much away from sustainable living. It's very interesting that we actually want sustainable living with solar panels, but we don't know how to sustainably live in this body. We don't know how to take care of this body and how to take care of our children's body, because we are always looking for answers from, certain people, and they don't necessarily know all of these things that we have used for centuries. And so there is a lot of ancient wisdom in that. And but it is important to do it correctly. It is important to make sure you're doing it age related and so on and so forth, so that you don't hurt your children. But our children are not that fragile as well, you know. We kind of worry too much sometimes. So um, I am looking forward to seeing many of you at the webinar. I know that many of you have signed up. I am so excited to bring you so much more new information, things that I have learned in my 17 years of practice and treating my own children. Many parents have said this to me that, oh, your children are so lucky to have you. But this didn't come overnight. It came with a lot of distilling and learning and practicing, over a period of time. And of course, now my children get the benefit of it. But and of course you as well, because now I can provide you with the tools to help your child. All right. So if you guys don't have any more questions for me, I don't know if there's a lag, and if you're posting your comments, I'm not getting them immediately. But if you don't have any more questions, I am looking forward to seeing you this Saturday at 4 p.m. and it's Central Time. And until the next 2 weeks. Okay, take care of yourself, and I will see you soon.